Every day is a mystery. You might never know. It's out of my control. Call me up, I'll be here tonight. Waiting by my phone. It's out of my control.
I should be like you, Melv.
Good morning, all you Midwestern mages. My name is Broderick Hanson. Love to welcome you to the Minnesota's Magic Podcast Show. Joining me, as always, are my two co-hosts. You know one of them as that mono blue menace, Dylan Hotman. The other one is that battle cruiser battler, Blake Cooper. Boys, make some noise. Tell me how you doing. Tell me how you feeling.
Not like I'm from Jersey, but, you know, anything you want, Brody.
It's really great to be here.
It's great to be
Super
here.
excited about today.
Yeah.
That's good. We're back. It's been a while.
Oh, this is a time of our lives today, boys.
Yeah, it has been a little bit. Life's been a little crazy. A little COVID happened. A little holidays happened.
Oh, did it happen? I think I just skipped all that completely. I ignored that. See,
Brody slept through it.
I slept.
He
I
built
went.
Kozilek, and he's just sitting there manifesting it. He's like,
Been a lot of deck building
Kozilek
happening.
deck. Must
Oh,
build.
what's this? Rips open vor and collects back. Oh, what's this? Looks outside. Oh, I caused this. Let's put you back in here. No, so today we are going to be talking about Kamigawa, but not just anything about Kamigawa. We're talking about, like, deck ideas we want to do for Commander and, like, just fun little deck techs. Ideas, basically, for certain commanders we have in mind.
Yeah, we're just going to, like, pick one that we're like, oh, that one seems a little interesting. Like, maybe we can do something cool with that.
We're going to add some cards to it and see if we can't make it a little bit more of an enjoyable commander. Some of them are pretty popular, but, you know, that we've seen on other videos. But I know this one, you know, we picked some pretty unique ones that hopefully will pique people's interest and get the gears turning when it comes to new deck ideas.
Yeah.
And I definitely am going to do a very battle cruiser type of deck. Mono white, Voltron. Spoilers.
It's the Aura's Fox, isn't it?
It's the Aura box.
Spoilers.
A mono green stompy, of course you are. All right. I guess I'll just start it off then. La-da-dee, la-da-do. Phone, give me your precious information. You're not the one. Oh, no. So that is something I did order for us. I did order us better mics. Those are on the way. I ordered these nice Rode mics instead of these dinky, cheap $15 mics, but...
Pretty soon. Commander games, guys.
Yes.
Commander
So
games, guys.
I finally, like, we're going to, within the next week, we'll start recording some gameplay videos, and what the plan is to try and upload them weekly, because we play a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like one match of video, something like that.
It'll come down to time sensitivity and schedule, because we are busy people, and we have things that we do outside of this. This is kind of our pet project hobby that we do, but, you know, we'll try and get some stuff out there for you guys.
We are going to make it happen.
Going.
At
If
some-
it
it's-
kills us.
We're going to make it happen, whether it's the three of us or two of us and some other people. We're going to figure it out. We're going to make it work. But we're going to definitely get some gameplay out there, because I got some spicy decks that I want to smash face at people
This
with.
deck I'm actually getting into building. So I don't know, are we doing the Kamigawa commander themed game? Are we doing that, or are we gonna put that on the back burner for a budget commander game that I kind of came up with a while
I
back?
think we're going to do what I want to do is just like a little pilot, like This Is Us.
Do you want to talk about that?
Sure, we can talk about,
We
like,
can talk about that game before
yeah.
a little bit.
Let's save it for like the end step. Let's talk about.
Yeah,
let's get into
we'll save
the
it at end
topic
step.
right now, because we're just kind of rambling. Let's talk about these.
Right,
cards.
we're getting off track.
Getting
as
off
usual.
track. That's what we do. But let's talk about these decks, and then we can get to, like, hey, future about the channel, kind of stuff like that.
All right, so I guess I'll start us off with a commander that I'm really looking for. I've already started building this thing, bits and pieces. I was going through a lot of stuff last night. I tore up my entire room looking for cards, and I found some really odd things. But I want to make, I'm going to, TLDR, I'm going to butcher every name in here. But I want to build,
They're made up words. It doesn't matter.
they're they use actual Japanese names and meanings, all right? Words have meanings. All right, so the commander I want to build and that I want to try and feature in an episode is Tatsunari Toad Rider. For 2 and a black, you get a legendary human ninja, 3/3. No keywords or anything like that. He has an ability that whenever you cast an enchantment spell, if you don't control Kami, create Kami, a legendary 3/3 black frog.
Kami.
No, it's Keimei. It's Kami. Kami is spelled.
Kami of the crescent moon. All right, go ahead. Sorry. These are made up words.
Brody's
Go
getting
ahead.
upset.
Just let Blake pronounce all your words.
Go ahead, dude. Go
All
ahead.
right. So, Kami is a legendary 3/3 black and green frog creature token with whenever you cast an enchantment spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So a little death and taxes on there. And then he also has for 1 and a Simic hybrid, so blue or green. Tatsumari Toad Rider and target frog you control can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with flying or reach. So you're basically jumping over. And the first thing I thought of was Naruto references every time.
Keep going. I want to see what you're gonna put in this.
Oh, well, so what I was thinking of is like, okay, I'm looking at enchantment. So you have the big splashy ones and it's Sultai. So you have like Rhystic Study, Necropotence, Phyrexian Arena, Sylvan Library. Those are the base ones. Those are boring. Forget everything you know about Sultai enchantments. I'm here now. We're going to go to everything, and we're going to make everything not able to attack as well. Because blue has a lot of just tap-down enchantments and a lot of auras. And we're doing totems as well. Totems.
Totems. All right, I'm done.
Yes, totems. But just a lot of like simple 1-drop enchantments, very low cost, low to the ground. But then I'm also running a lot of clone effects.
I have one question.
Go
Do
ahead.
you have the greatest blue enchantment?
Rhystic
Aura?
Study?
No. Leap.
That's a real thing.
Yes, it gives enchanted creature fly. It can't be blocked by flying or reach, or without flying or reach. So why would you not put jump or leap or launch? All of those. Launch is great. Launch is great because launch says when the enchantment is put into the graveyard, you put the enchantment back in your hand.
I am including Archetype of Imagination to take away flying from everybody. There is no Archetype of Take Away Reach yet, but we're getting there. There are also a lot of enchantments to just say unblockable creature.
Like spiders.
Green.
Nobody really plays
Green.
spider
This
tribal.
man plays this man plays
Do you
everything.
play spider tribal?
Spider Trouble's fun. I've done it before.
I don't play Spider Tribal, but I do play Reach because I don't play like when I play mono green deck, I gotta have some sort of Reach because they don't have much flyers except the broken card.
Controls are hard today. No, but like I was just looking at a lot of just like simple drop, just cheap low to the ground to get that trigger off as many times as possible. I'm also running a small little clone package as well to make multiple copies of my Toad. Because that thing's a legendary creature, I can't have multiples of them unless I have like the Sakashimas out or Mirror Gallery or that new artifact that gets rid of the legendary creature type. So
Or Helm of the Host.
or Helm of the Host, yeah. Can you equip Helm of the Host to the? Yeah, you can. Yeah. Oh, that's a good
creature.
idea.
It's a creature.
Yeah. I'll just equip Helm of the Host to this frog and make multiples. But it's like you have like 3 or 4 of these guys out, or you have 4 of the best girl, and then you just slap like Pestilence out, and you do like 5 damage, activate Pestilence, do 6 damage in 1 turn. But yeah, there's gonna be like the other frogs like Gitrog and his brother. So, but key thing to know about him is that he can only make 1 frog unblockable, so you can only jump over with 1. But there's a lot of auras and enchantments just make your frogs unblockable. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. And this is just weird. It's not like normal. Like there are a lot of cool commanders in this set, like ones that do like Boros and extra combat stuff or ninjutsu and stuff like that. But a little off the beaten path. Like how many Sultai enchantment decks are there? There are 2. I looked. It's Muldrotha and the dude who doubles ETBs. Yarok,
I
yeah.
guessed because of Constellation or
Yep.
kind of stuff.
But like that was my struggle. Like, look, it's like because all the enchantment decks are Bant. A lot of it's in white. This deck was hard to like My deck has
like
no.
nail down.
Yeah, I
His
have.
white enchantments are so good in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they also like they give you all the protection for like your enchantments and stuff.
Is that the?
No, no.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I was spiking the lens because you're talking about white enchantments, and that's
Cigar to
Oh,
summons.
no.
Well, Cigar to
you
Summons, yes,
jerk.
but I'm just talking about my deck when we get there.
I saw that, like, I was looking at that, like, when we had the idea of, like, the Kamigawa commander thing, and I was trying to, like, think, because me and you, we'll build decks constantly, and if need be, we'll build decks for the other people at that table. And I'm thinking, okay, what are fun decks that would be built? I saw that, I'm like, I misread it and thought it brings back enchantments and not just...
Careful. All right.
And not,
Back.
Oh, you're
It's all right. You're good. It's fine. Don't worry
I
about
misread it and thought it brought back enchantments as well, and I'm like, oh, Mono, let's go. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, I'm done with this thing. Goodbye. Get out of here. You're trash. Toad, come here. But yeah, that's my idea. Blake, what do you got for us?
So the deck that I'm gonna like consider building and get some deck ideas for you is Light Paws Emperor's Voice. It's a 1 and a white legendary creature, Fox Advisor, 2/2. It's got a block of text on it, but it says, when an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less than or equal to the aura with a different name than each aura you control. Put that card onto the battlefield attached to Light Paws Emperor's Voice, then shuffle. So basically, you get to cast one and then go search for one that's equal or lesser and put it on there. It's my idea behind it is to kind of go a Voltron-ish style, and kind of semi-lifelink and protection, all this kind of stuff. So, like, the main card I thought of first is called Spectre Ward. It's 3 white aura enchantment. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from all colors. It does not remove, this effect does not remove auras. And then doing things like Spirit Link. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. And then, like, mixing that with, like, a card like Pariah, which is an enchantment that says whenever you are dealt damage, all damage that would be dealt to you is instead dealt to enchanted creature. So basically, like, it's going to be real hard to attack me. It's going to be really hard to block my guy. It's going to be really hard to remove it. You're going to have to do board wipes and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to gain a bunch of life and just kind of go Voltron-y. Another card that I think is really fun with it is Veteran Bodyguard, which is kind of like a similar thing. Sorry, there's a dog that's distracted everyone.
There's a small dog in the building. He's mono white Tron.
And then, so a card that I really like too is called Veteran Bodyguard. So if kind of like your commander keeps getting destroyed, you can kind of do the same thing to kind of just protect your life until you can build up a white army. Because in mono white, it's tough. We all know it's tough.
Mono white is the worst color in Commander.
I mean, I have a mono white deck, and it's banding and flanking, and it's silly, but it actually, like, there's certain staples that you need to have to make mono white good, but like a land tax and Keeper of the Accord and
Teferi's
protection and
Or whatever. The Wayfarer guy that gives you a planes every time you move, puts around the battlefield. It's like $8 card or something like that.
Oh, for Mycoria?
No, it's old. It's an old card.
Oh, okay. That's why.
He's basically just grabs basic plane cards. Is all he does.
yeah, I can't think of what that is off the top of my head, but there's things that you're gonna need. You're gonna want Sram in this deck, so every time you cast one of those auras, you get a draw card. You're gonna want Sun Titan, so that way you can get your auras back. What?
Sun Titan.
Sun Titan.
There we go.
But what I was saying, a really fun card to add to this deck, because this is the way I build, is a Veteran Bodyguard, which says, as long as Veteran Bodyguard is untapped, all damage that is done to you is instead done to the Bodyguard. So basically, it kind of protects, if you give it protection, indestructible, all this kind of stuff, it's basically just going to be like, don't touch me over here, I'm just doing my own thing. And then there's like Catilda, which was in the Innistrad Vampire set, which power and toughness is equal to the number of enchantments and spirits you control. Spirit's not really going to do much.
Well, there's some spirit stuff in white that you could do that could pump her up, but
one that I really like, so that way you don't have to run like an enchantment aura that has removal on it, because you got to have removal in your deck, is Farrell's Mantle. So whenever the enchanted creature...
How old is this card?
It's pretty old.
Of course it is.
I think it was like Fallen Empires or something like that. But whenever enchanted creature attacks and is not blocked, you can instead choose to not do damage to the player, but then do damage to a creature they control plus 2 damage. Stupid things like that. Entangler is really cool for this, so that way, like, if you just have your Fox Commander guy out and just have him like beefed up with a bunch of stuff, it says he can block as many creatures as he wants. Eldrazi Conscription, obviously, just a huge aura that's awesome. +10/+10, Trample and Annihilator.
How bad do you wish this thing was in green so you could put like Colossal-Fication or any of those other like green aura enchantments in that deck?
If it was green-white, this would be probably pretty broken in my opinion, because I could do some things that
I think that'd be up. You could run Sithis too in there actually. Yeah, that'd be
green-white or white-blue would be really cool too.
Well, even
'cause blue
grabbing
has some good ones that you can make it unblockable.
So her ability lets you grab 2. So you cast one, say you cast Eldrazi Conscription. It's an 8 mana card. Okay, well now you can grab another enchantment of equal or lesser value. Okay, so you're grabbing 2 really awesome, your 2 best enchantments. Because like the first thing that comes to my mind is, so she's a 2 mana card, so you're getting her out on turn 2 most of the time. And then you're going to immediately cast something like All That Glitters, or even stuff like Ethereal Armor. I'm a Boggles player, so these are all just enchants that are just...
This is right up your alley.
These are all just super low to the ground enchantments that you can just throw. And then my favorite enchantment in the game, Daybreak Coronet. I mean, it's so good. Okay, so turn 3, you're going to be able to cast, or turn 2, you're going to cast her, okay? Turn 3, you're going to cast, let's say, All That Glitters, and you're going to throw it on your creature. And then you're going to search your library for any enchantment. Well, Daybreak Coronet's the perfect card to throw on there because you have to have an enchantment already equipped to the creature. And then you're getting Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink. And a +3/+3. So she just immediately becomes a 5/5. And then you have +2 to that. So she's a 7/7. And then she's got Lifelink. So on turn 3, you can swing for huge damage if you potentially have it correct. I mean, even if you have a 2 mana enchantment or a 3 mana enchantment, and you're gonna get 2 enchantments. It's a 2-for-1. It's awesome.
So this deck is like, you're selling me on this deck. You really are. I'm like, okay, this is up my alley because I like Voltron. Voltron's fun where you just suit up and beat. You like and white has a lot of just token makers too. It does.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that next year too, of like some of the enchantment auras.
It's biting me.
Some of the enchantment auras that make creatures. So there's a newer one from Midnight Hunt, Cathar's Call. Enchanted creature has vigilance, and at the beginning of your end step, you create a 1/1 human. There's I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I had it written down. The vampire one. Oh man, I can't remember. I can't find it now. But basically, it enters the battlefield. It gives your creature lifelink, and then you get to make when it enters the battlefield, you get to make a 1/1 vampire with lifelink. Is that what it is? Oh, Angelic Destiny is a good one. It's not the one I'm thinking of. Okay. That one is whenever... So Angelic Destiny is awesome. That was one of the cards that I put in here. It gets +4/+4, has first strike, and becomes an angel in addition to its type. Yeah. And then when Angelic...
Oh, so it works as Cigar to Summoning.
Hey, and here's the thing. And even in... I was thinking about this when I was looking at that deck, too, was I know as a player, you like to play a bunch of old cards too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You could run all of the scarabs and wards
that
just give prot to each individual color for one.
They're so good because
oh my God, don't give
it's just okay. I'm just gonna.
I already had the ward idea in my head.
I'm just gonna play blue scarab and then grab green scarab and then play blue ward, grab red ward, and you just can tailor it to every deck you're playing against. So it doesn't have to be, Chris crazy thing because it's just any enchantment. Okay, they're all playing red. Okay, I'm gonna grab the red scarab.
With the color of white and old enchantments, Blake will be unstoppable.
That's what I do. I mean, I like it's not older, but Knightly Valor. When it enters the battlefield, make a 2/2 knight, and then it gets +2/+2 and has vigilance. Light of Promise is one of my favorite cards. It says whenever you gain life, put that many 1/1 counters on the creature. So if I'm doing all this gain life stuff, where's that card? There's a card that says when it does combat damage, you get to double your life total. Celestial Mantle. Enchanted creature goes +3/+3. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, double controller's life total. So let's say you somehow,
In this magical Christmas land world.
I'm not even gonna say 40. You're at 31 life because you're getting beat on a little bit. It's turn. That's a 6 mana.
You're scared. You're mono white. That's a terrifying deck.
Turn. I'd say you play this on curve at turn 6. You've got 29 life, something like that. You equip this one, and then you also go get the thing that gives it protection, so that way it's gonna hit for sure, because that's a 5 mana cast. So then you attack, hit someone for, it would be 7 damage, and then double your life total to another 29. Put 29 counters on your creature, and it's got protection from everything, or protection from all colors, and it's huge. Like, that is exactly how I play this game.
Yeah, I just realized with that, like, that's pretty. So I just realized with that, like, that's pretty, like, you look at the table, you play that, you can, like, all right, so we have, like, Sultai, Gruul, Mono Black over there. You can basically see, all right, who's the biggest threat, look at their board, and then go get that enchantment and make your creature give protection from that. One thing I'm wondering with this deck, are you going to, like, put a artifact? Because you're going Voltron, you're going to throw any, like, artifacts, like any swords or anything like that in there? Because there is that new artifact sword in the set.
Samurai sword.
Yeah,
or whatever.
that samurai sword.
The one cast and one equip sword. That's a legendary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, maybe that would be a good addition, but I'm kind of leaning into straight.
Yeah, here it is. It's Eater of Virtue. It's phone, can you work? It's a 1 mana drop, legendary equipment artifact. Whenever a equipped creature dies, exile it. So your commander, so if it dies, then boop, in command zone. But equipped creature gets +2/+0. As long as a card is exiled with Eater of Virtue.
That doesn't work with.
That doesn't work with her because you just put it back in the command zone.
And it's not. There's nothing in exile.
Did you talk about Pariah yet?
Yes, Pariah is the one that. So once it has all the protection stuff on it, once you can just let stuff hit you, and all the damage is going to go to the commander because it says all damage is dealt to the enchanted creature.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if it's indestructible and in protection, all that kind of stuff, it's just going to like eat it up and be like, sweet, thank you.
And the two like of my favorite creatures to put in this is Sram, Senior Edificer, because auras and equipment cards. You draw a card every time you play it. And then again, back to the boggles, is that core Spirit Dancer. The one that every time you cast an aura enchantment, you draw 2 cards, which is so good. And then they get +2/+2 for each enchantment attached to them, which is absurd.
With a deck like this too, you're also like, your commander is definitely going to get targeted very quickly because people are going to see it coming. So you need things that are like going to bring enchantments back, because once the creature dies, all the enchantments are going to go in the graveyard. So there's a lot of
well, that's like white specialty. It's like, you got enchantments in your graveyard. Well, you see, I have this Nyx enchantment that just brings one back. Or what's that math?
Starfield of Nyx is what
Starfield of Nyx. What's the one that brings back all of them? That's like
Replenish.
Well, Replenish is the expensive version. There's also Triumphant Reckoning, which was in Commander Legends.
There's also the one we got in Modern Horizons 2, the one with Suspend.
Yep, there's the one. I can't remember what it's called. And then also in the new Kamigawa set, there's Brilliant Restoration, which is 3 white, which doesn't matter. You're in mono white. But return.
But that
all,
triple pip mana cost. How will you ever hit that in mono white? Only. No.
Return all artifacts, enchantments from your graveyard to the battlefield. There's Auramancer, which is a creature that when it enters, return enchantment to the graveyard, from graveyard to your hand. I found an old one from, I think this is Weatherlight.
When you're building the first deck, do you literally like, all right, deck, you're going like one of the deck finder decks. All right, start from time. You like the first entry, so you're in like alpha and beta, and you work your way.
In a way, so like I literally like when I go on Scryfall and I type in like return to hand, put commander as white. And then I'd literally just like, I kind of ignore the new borders, and I'm looking for the old borders, because the old borders always do something interesting. And this one, it's not interesting. It says return target artifact or enchantment from graveyard to hand, Argavian Find, but it's 1 white and it's an instant.
I forgot. It's like you said with even like Entangler from Prophecy. By the way, this creature can block all creatures if it chooses to. That's the only card that I found in existence that actually has where they can block any number of creatures other than 100-handed giant.
There's also there's a instant that does it, or instant. Yeah, it's an instant.
Oh, Blaze of Glory.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Blaze
there's
of
another
Glory
one
is
too,
another
'cause I
card that
don't
I
think
love.
that's
That's near and dear
what
to
I'm
me.
thinking of, but
Blaze and Glory is it's like a 2-cast instant, 1 in a white, and it's basically your creature can block any number of creatures, and then at the end of the turn, all creatures that attacked and
Isn't
blocked
that like
die.
from one of the Ravnica sets?
No,
I thought
it's
it was.
That's another old card.
I have a quick story about that, like kind of thing happening. So I was playing once against a Sapperling deck, and was just going crazy with Sapperlings, and I had Hamlet-back Goliath out, which is a giant for 7 mana that's a 6/6 and gets +1/+1 for each creature. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it gets a +1/+1 counter for that creature's power. So he's dumping them out. I'm just growing with it. So he's got like 100 Sapperlings. I've got a 106 creature. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to attack you. And I'm like, sweet. I can block all of them, and my guy survives, and your guys don't.
I mean, I was gonna say I was going through all those enchantments last night, like building this deck with what I had, and I'm like going through this stuff. And a long time ago, I got this box just of old enchantment or just old stuff, and I found this enchantment that it's enchantment, and what it does is it gives that enchantment cumulative upkeep 2. That's all it does. But it's I like it because it's like, oh, somebody has a doubling season. Well, now you got to pay cumulative upkeep 2 every time every turn.
But yes, that is kind of how I build. Going back to that, is I look for older cards, because older cards I feel like I can find something interesting, and then I'm not just playing with like the same staples that everyone is going to play with. But so back to the deck. So you're going to want a lot of recursion and ways to get those enchantments out, so when your creatures die, and then also having ways to move the enchantments around is really good. So there was from what is this? Betrayers of Kamigawa, I think. Old Kamigawa set. Kitesoon Mystic. It's a 3 and a white for a 2/3 Fox Wizard. At the end of your turn, if Kitesoon Mystic is enchanted by 2 or more enchantments, flip it. And then when it flips, yes, the old Kamigawa is actually flipped.
No, I just look at what you actually flipped your phone.
Well, I can't read it. It turns into Autumntail Kitesoon Sage, which is a 4/5 Fox Wizard legendary creature. Can't be your commander because the other side's not. But you can pay 1 and move an enchantment enchanting a creature to another creature. So basically, you get to move things around. Arden Intrepid Archaeologist. At the beginning of your combat step, you can attach any number of auras or equipment to a target permanent or player. Good card advantage is Armored Skyhunter. It kind of goes along with those. So Armored Skyhunter is a cat knight with flying. 3/3. When it attacks, you get to look at the top 6, put 1 aura or equipment from among them onto the battlefield, attach it to Armored Skyhunter, rest on the bottom in any order. That's in my cat deck, and I have done some work with that, pulling like Colossification off the top, so then it becomes a 23/23 in the air. I've gotten Black Blade Reforged, so then it's just like you can do some broken things with that.
It's a good card it's a good card for Voltron decks, or just Voltron decks. It's a nice staple to just get stuff.
And then, I am not a big, I don't like to play like the super efficient tutors, so instead of Enlightened Tutor, we can play Aura Touched Mage, which is a 3/3 human wizard.
How many hoops does it have?
It's 6 mana, so it's
Good start.
but it says, when Aura Touched Mage enters the battlefield, search your library for an aura card that could enchant it. If Aura Touch Mage is still on the battlefield, put that aura onto the battlefield attached to it. Otherwise, reveal the aura card and put it in your hand, then shuffle. So it's like a way to get it right out, like an aura right out, and then if you can move it around and do all that stuff, but it's 6 mana. There's also a 7 mana Giant Monk that says whenever it enters the battlefield, you may search your library or graveyard, hand, and or library for an aura card, put it onto the battlefield attached to Boonweaver Giant, and then shuffle.
Oh man, I really need this enchantment. Better search my hand. Oh look, it was there all along.
I mean, sometimes you get stuck with stuff in your hand. You can't cast it. If you have 7 mana, you probably can cast it. But still, like
The other thing too is you also have 2 really cheap and cheap money wise and cheap casting enchantments in our tutors in Idyllic Tutor for 3, which
not
is
cheap.
it's like $4.
I did.
I think it's
Yeah.
more expensive than that now.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm guessing it's somewhere in like $10. But
It's a $5 card.
all right, we're both.
I was right. It was more expensive than 4.
Okay. And Open the Armory, which is an uncommon, which
Yes.
says look for an aura.
Yes.
So there's other
things.
cheap options too.
There's other things, but it's.
Well, the other thing you have to keep into mind too is
least you get a
your
creature out of
commander
this.
is literally a tutor engine. That it is literally an
Yeah.
enchantment tutor engine. That is it.
And then, so in this deck, you're going to want recursion. You're going to want ways to move them around. I didn't mention there was another artifact. This was an old one. I can't remember what it was from. It was an older one, but it's called Crown of Ages. 2 mana artifact. You can pay 4 and tap it to move enchantment onto a new target. There's good. I mean, there's a lot of like, what is it, Sage of Reveries or something like that. It's like when it enters the battlefield, if the creature has other auras on it, draw a card, and then it gets +1/+1 for each aura. So you're gonna pump this dude up. You're gonna give him a bunch of keywords, and then you gotta just have ways to recur them and protect them, which is a lot of the auras are gonna do. And then one of my favorite cards too, that like this is kind of the last card I want to mention. That's like
You've
kind of
said this before.
This
and-
is the last card, and then I'm gonna move on because I've been talking
Don't
for a
believe
long
you.
time about this mono white deck. That's probably never gonna be that great.
You don't know that.
But it's a creature called Umbra Mystic. It's a human wizard, 2/2. Auras attached to permanents you control have totem armor. So what totem armor says, if the creature would be destroyed, you remove the aura and regenerate the creature, basically. So it's like a good form of protection. And then if you have like a bunch of like a huge stack of auras on it, you can just start like picking them off one by one and then get them back and do all this kind of stuff. And
Can you pick the totem order? Like, if so, that's on there. It has a bunch of different auras. You can pick what. Oh, that's good.
it says destroy an aura.
Oh,
attached
so it's
to
like,
it.
well, I know this gives it flying, but this one gives it flying in first strike, and it just got hit.
Yeah,
So let's
like-
get rid of those. Let's
Yeah.
get rid of this.
You would essentially when you the whole idea of Boggles is I build totem armor now, because you're building Hyena Umbra and you're building Rancor, and you're
Yes, the
building
Umbras are very
the
good.
Umbras are very
There's
good.
like 4 Umbras in white that all have totem armor and
Yeah.
give you a pump and a keyword.
Yeah, and the idea is that you want you want to stack your totem armor so that when they have to literally board wipe multiple times in order to get rid of it because they just can't.
Yes. So, all right.
It's interesting. I like it. You've sold me on
It's
it.
an interesting deck. I don't know how great it's going to be because it is mono white. So, and you're going to need some help to it. But I think if you can get it going, and if you're playing how I play, battle cruiser style, like it's going to be kind of fun, and hopefully it can do something.
All right, Dylan, what do you got for me?
My deck isn't super unique, but it's awesome in the fact that I like the idea of the dragon spirits from the new set. I like the new dragons. They all came out and they all seemed pretty awesome.
They're all really cool.
The death triggers are tough to get around as a commander build because commander tax, it gets more expensive, and in just about every color the death triggers, in just about every color it's tough to recur your dragon when you literally have to wait 3 turns before you can cast it again.
Play my dragon. Sack my dragon. Get the benefits. All right, I'm done. You still have like a bunch of mana. I need 2 more to play my commander.
Well, and the old dragons didn't have super awesome payoffs. The payoffs for a death trigger, like the black one from Iconic
You had
Masters,
Kikusho, and that was pretty much the good one.
Evening Star was the cool one because it's like, okay, I gain 15 life and deal 5 damage to each 5 damage to each player. But
Kaiga was pretty sweet too.
Huh?
The blue one, when it dies, steal a creature.
That one's cool. That one's awesome. But other than that, I mean, it's tough for their mana cost. Stealing a creature, I mean, you can cast there's certain cards that you say, okay, I take this creature now. You don't have to wait till it dies. So with that, oh, go ahead, Blake.
I was just going to say, because this is the deck that I have, but Kaiga in Orvar is sweet, because then you just target it, it makes a copy of it, legendary rule, it dies, but you still have your Kaiga, and then you steal it.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Blake, that's mean.
So
No, I've played against that deck. You're just gonna make like 4 copies of them. Like, you're playing your deck. I'm playing. This is my deck. You built this deck. I built this deck. I did the meme right.
Still good. No, it's fine. It's fine. Hey, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about cool decks here. That's what we're awesome. That's why we're doing this channel, guys. So, Kura, the Boundless Sky, mono green dragon spirit for 3 green. It is a 4/4 with flying death touch, and when Kura dies, classic. You know, you get choose one of 2 different modes when it dies. So mode number 1 is search your library for 3 land cards, not basics, 3 lands. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. And then the second mode is create an XX green spirit creature token where X is the number of lands you control. Both of them are good. I personally like the lands one because it's got a better payoff, which is the deck tech that I built around. But there is something to be said about with the recursion that I have in the deck, you can easily do the first mode, and then the next time you cast Kura, you can easily do the second mode, so you get a big beefy creature that just sits out on the battlefield. For my deck, I went with a lands theme, sacrifice and lands theme with her, just because I don't see a whole lot of mono green sacrifice decks.
There aren't that many benefits for sacking and besides like greater good or like the blow up your creature, draw X amount of cards based on its power. That's about the extent of it. Green doesn't have too many death triggers. Do you know green cards that have death triggers, Blake?
It's not a green card that has a death trigger, but Foster. It says whenever a creature dies, you can pay 1 and then reveal the top card of your library. And if it's a creature, you can put it in your hand, I want to say.
So pseudo card draw on death. Yeah, that'd be good in your deck.
So this is going to end up being just a mono green ramp and stomp deck. So you're going to be running your Arborals, your Mystics, your Elvish Mystics, your little tiny guys.
Are you running Berserk in that deck? So that you swing, get the
Yeah, Berserk is awesome. It's such a sweet card. Because like you just attach Berserk to Kura and you just rush in there. She dies, but then you're gonna get the benefits from her. So you don't have to do a sack outlet per se. But I did add a bunch of sack outlets. I didn't really care to talk about like how to kill her off.
The standard, like, run the altars. It's the altars, pretty much.
I mean, Phyrexian Altar and Ashnod's Altar are great. They're not needed, but they're great.
Yeah. And then you're probably
Phyrexian Altar's super expensive. It's like $40.
Yeah, it's like 50, 40. And you're probably, you're running, like, Return of the Wild Speaker and, like, those cards, right? To blow up and then draw that many.
Yeah, I mean, you can do stuff like that as well. These are actually things that I did not think of. I mean, that's also a really good idea. I mean, you can there's a lot of toolbox with this, especially with the lands. Now let me get into the lands.
I was about to ask you, you're running mono green. What kind of like lands are you running in there?
So
basic forest.
Yeah, basic forest. That's it. No, I'm just kidding.
Snow-covered forest.
So if you got the money, I'll throw the first one up there. Diamond Valley. Diamond Valley is a $750 land from Arabian Nights. And I know we just talked about
I was going to ask, is it from the reserve list? What is it with you to an old cards?
Hey, you know what? It's a cool land because it's a sack outlet. It's a sack outlet for Kura.
My old cards are like 75 cents.
This is a joke. You don't have to have this card. And
ladies and gentlemen, the high end and the low end of the old cards.
But it is a sack outlet for Kura. So you can literally just grab it, and then next time you play Kura, you can just say, I'm sack it right to this. This is awesome. So aside from Diamond Valley, which was a joke, by the way, I wanted to make this a birthing pod deck. Yeah, I know. That's what I thought, too. So with birthing pod, you can just sack her to birthing pod and grab all your big mono stompy creatures and then sack her so you could get the death triggers off of her.
I made a fun mono white Voltron deck.
And I did not.
And you made birthing
mono
pod.
green birthing pod, guys.
Okay, I have a question. Is birthing pod like CMC or is it power? Because
CMC.
CMC. Okay, what's
6?
6.
No. She's 5, so you can find 6.
Okay, good. There's my question. That's what I was asking. It's like, okay, so yeah, no, green has a lot of big 6 drops. All right, there we go.
If it was a 6, you could grab Craw Giant. Craw Giant, guys?
Get out of here.
All right. So the lands. Yavimaya. Yavimaya is good. It's going to turn all of your good utility lands into forests. That's all. That's a classic. Mosswort Bridge is the green land with Hideaway. I like that one just because if you're playing a mono green stompy deck, it's not going to be hard to get power 10 on your board. So
No, not at all.
Nykthos. Nykthos is also good. You know, you're gonna have a bunch of green creatures on the board, so you're gonna have a bunch of ability to get that devotion to green if you want it. And then my personal favorite way to run this is just Tron lands. You're grabbing 3 lands, so you can grab mine, tower, and power plant all at once.
So you sack it, get your Tron next turn plate for basically free.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're playing Mono Green Stomp, but you're going to be running stuff like Azusa and other things that are just going to give you lands out right out of the gate.
How many lands are you thinking about running in this deck? Like, give me a number. Is it above 30?
Yeah, I mean, I would run it close to 40. Probably close to like a 40 land deck if you wanted to. I mean, if you're running it for the mere fact that you're also running a bunch of mana dorks in there, like your elves, you could probably run closer to like between 30 and 35. Because the thing is that once you start bringing out Kura and just sacking her, you're going to be able to thin out your deck more and more and more because you're just going to be pulling 3 lands out every time.
So you sack her to Birthing Pod, right? Or you sack her, you get your 6-drop, you play your 6-drop. It probably has some benefits when it dies too. And you sack that, and you have Kura out. And you sack her as well. After you've sacked her, and you have that 7-drop trigger, you know what 7-drop you play with all those lands? No. Avenger of Zendikar.
I suppose.
Don't give me that.
How creative.
Ooh.
Hey, you have a bunch of lands, you play that, you get those So, if you stack the triggers right, you have her on the end, and you play Avenger first.
Sure.
The plants come out, and then you have her trigger. That's 3 triggers on Avenger.
Yeah, when I built it, my thought process is I'm building Tron, so a bunch of colorless Payoffs wouldn't be bad. So I like the idea of building it as an Eldrazi deck, but not Titans, because I don't like the Titans.
What is wrong with my boy Kozilek?
Because nobody likes him.
And
everyone as soon as he
nobody.
hits the table.
But then you could counter things in mono green.
I just don't like it. I don't like Kozilek in any form.
No, he has a good point. That might be a good deck actually.
And I don't care for either Ulamog. Because
That's my boy. I love Ulamog.
I don't do Titans, guys. I don't do it. I'll do It That Betrays,
Titans
and
are my trigger.
I'll do It That Betrays, and that's the farthest I'll go with it. I won't even do Void Winnower. Void Winnower is stupid.
But Void Winnower can't even.
Shut up. All right, I'm done. This is my last time on the podcast, guys. I gave them all really good ideas for decks, and then they just shit on mine.
What they're so the card.
Yes, Blake, I said it.
So there's a card called World Spire Worm. I might be butchering. I might be
World Spine.
World Spire. That's what it is. Yeah. But you know, like when he dies, you get the 5/5 tokens and you shuffle him back in your deck.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be just a recurring thing you can just build your board.
It's a great card.
What about running the what's its name Renin 7 in your deck too as a planeswalker to get those nice tokens? Could you go with a token sub theme in this deck actually?
You could. There's definitely ways to do it. I mean, I built it as a lands theme with huge big green payoffs or colorless. I mean, I like Pathways to Ulamog. Pathways to Ulamog's a cool card. I mean, Desolation Twin is awesome. 10 mana, get 2 10/10s. I mean, there's lots of ways that you can play the deck.
I mean, and you're like, I think if you do Yavimaya, like if you get like with his death trigger, get Yavimaya, and then if you get like a card like since you're doing mono green stomp, you're getting the Tron, and then whatever, and then you do something like Patron of the Orochi.
Yeah.
It's 8 mana 7/7 that tap it to untap all your forests. So then you can just like blah 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 and just go freaking crazy, like with all of the mana and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think this deck could be really cool, and I'm trying to give you ideas.
I totally understand.
I was crapping on you. So.
I know, it's fine.
Both of your decks are
mind.
cooler than my stupid. Like I'm gonna play it, but
the other new card that just came out, it is, unfortunately, it's like a $20 card because it's so popular. But Cultivator Colossus is an awesome new card that goes awesome in land decks because it's just land. I'm just gonna keep playing lands. I mean, you
can
just
go for the
have
black
so
and
much
white
mana.
one that came in the dual set. That one's cheaper than the regular price.
Yeah. Originally, when I started putting these cards together, I thought that graveyard would be the way to go. Like, instead of putting Kura in your command zone, just put her in your graveyard and just recur her with, like, Eternal Witness and Regrowth.
Eternal Witness, Regrowth, Timeless Witness,
Yeah.
Once in Future. I had a little, like,
A phase.
not a phase, but in my lure deck, it's like, it runs all three of those.
Yeah.
And, like, because my commander's 8 mana,
Yeah.
like, off the bat, I have to kind of have a recursion because she gets real expensive real fast. But, like, Once in Future says if you use 3 green mana, you can grab 2 cards and put them both in your hand. And then Timeless Witness and Tireless, or Eternal Witness. So then you can kind of, like, you do Eternal Witness to get the Once in Future back, and then you get the Once in Future to get the Eternal Witness and another card back.
Yep.
So then you can kind of, like, loop it in that way.
Yeah.
And then I'm curious, are you thinking about running Elemental Resonance?
I have no idea what that card
It's
is.
enchant I'm sorry. I mean, that's still a good one. Enchant permanent at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. You add X mana, where X is its converted mana cost. That's an aura. Hey, more auras. That's a mono green one. I'm thinking, sorry, Fruit of the First Tree. I'm looking at my deck list, which I have a mono green deck list. That's really fun. But Fruit of the First Tree, enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, you gain X life and draw X card, where X is that creature's power.
That's pretty good.
Toughness. But stuff
She's
like
a
that.
4/4, so yeah, it's still not bad.
There is a colorless land that I run in my Eldrazi deck. And it's tap and sack a creature, gain life equal to its power. I don't know if I forget what that is. It'll be on screen here. I don't know.
I think all these cards are going to be on.
Yeah. Oh
the
yeah. No.
screen.
Yeah. But like, I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. It's from Kamigawa,
Yeah.
but it's like one of the old shrine themed lands. But it's just not a Honden. It's like it has like a shrine in the background. It's like called Shrine of something. I can't remember. Temple of the False Gods. But no, I can't remember. But that would be a good card too. To just like play your commander, throw it in. If it's being damaged, something like that, you can sack it to gain life. Or if you don't have a sack outlet, the thing is, it's a sack outlet that's colorless on a land that gains you a bunch of life.
Yeah.
This is a deck where Temple of the False Gods could be good because you're gonna get your lands.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing was like I looked at this deck. I looked at this deck not because it would be like a super unique deck, and it's really not that unique of a deck. It's not. I mean, you're playing a mono green. The way I would build it, the way I'm going to build it, is a mono green stompy deck with huge payoffs. Like, again, Pathways to Ulamog, World Spine Worm, whatever the indestructible worm that's 16/16.
That's the World Spine Worm.
Huh?
Isn't that the World Spine Worm?
No.
No, that's like Imperial Great Maw.
Imperial Great Worm or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Great Worm. I keep calling him Great Maw because
Yeah. I mean, just
Apex Devastator. It's not a death trigger, but it's a good card.
Yeah. I mean, they're just great cards to throw into this deck, and this is the first deck. This is the first deck that I've ever saw when, wow, okay, so I can
It's
grab.
the first deck I ever saw.
It's the first deck I ever saw, and I could go, oh, hey, I'm going to grab all my Tron lands at once. It's awesome.
I don't
mean,
want
that's
to be here anymore.
awesome. I can just play all my Tron lands at once and just go, here's a big 7-mana creature, you know?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
No, that is sweet. I think you should throw, like,
Hey, we just had some technical difficulties. The battery in our recorder died, so we're back at it. So we're finishing up your commander.
Yeah. So, like he was saying, we can do Holo Gemstone. Holo Gemstone is an awesome mana doubler, which is from an old set. You know?
it's
Oh,
an enchant world, which
Oh, you put Vorinclex in this deck.
Yes.
you could put the old Vorinclex.
No,
which
no
Yes.
Vorinclex. I don't do that.
Yeah, Phyrexian
It's
will
not
rise
happening.
again.
Nyx Bloom Ancient. Oh, look at that, more man.
Nyx Bloom Ancient would go in here.
Yes.
Oh,
But
Nyx
Vorinclex
Bloom is
will
fine,
not.
But my boy
Vorinclex,
Vorinclex
no.
in.
Holo Gemstones is from Mirage in Enchant World that says at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they choose a color, and then all lands on the battlefield only tap for that one color.
I think they tap for an additional of that color.
No,
They only tap for that color.
they
huh?
only tap for that color. You're thinking of like maybe like Vernal Bloom or whatever that says whenever a forest is tapped, you
See
add
that.
a forest. No, it's not doubler. And
Oh, that's awesome.
The way Enchant Worlds work, if you ever
It's
play
funny
with an
because I have
Enchant
2 of
World-
these.
well,
I have 2 of these in my binder, and I'm sitting there going, huh. I don't know if I ever throw that in a deck.
the way Enchant Worlds work is like there's one Enchant World, and if someone else plays an Enchant World, which that's not going to happen very often, the original enchant world gets destroyed.
Everyone gets haste now.
Yeah, Concordant Crossroads.
Concordant Crossroads is awesome.
Enchant worlds are super fun to play with. I just saw one. It's called Teferi's something or other. Hold on.
Yes, Teferi's something or other. It's
I'm
a
asking
powerful spell.
I'm asking one of our buddies to Teferi's Realm. It's from Visions, and I think it says like at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they like have to phase out either their creatures, their lands, or their enchantments or something like that. Like you
Yeah.
have to phase out one of your things.
That's awesome.
Like all of them, but like of one permanent type, and I'm like, that's hilarious.
All right, that's the end of my deck tech. I will hopefully be building this soon, and maybe we'll see it on one of the Commander videos coming up.
Hopefully,
in
yeah.
the future.
We got plans, so let's dive into that real quick, and then we'll
Good
And then
time
we'll
magic.
move on
yeah,
to
we'll
the
get,
Good
we'll get to
Time
Good Time
Magic.
Magic, our segment. So, future plans for this is we're gonna be doing Commander videos. The regular, like, hey, we'll have some themed episodes, we'll have some fun ideas. Coming up, we have this budget idea. You want to explain your idea for the video for the budget?
Yeah, so I love the idea of really digging into the cheap cards and the cheap side of Magic the Gathering, and the thing is that you do not have to play with expensive cards, you don't have to play with expensive staples in order to be able to have fun playing Magic the Gathering, especially Commander, because Commander there are so many cards to choose from. And there's so many different ways that you can play the game, and there are all these different types. So you do not have to play with the super expensive cards like Demonic Tutor, and there's Demonic Tutor and you have Vampiric Tutor. Well, you can easily substitute those $30, $40 cards with Diabolic Tutor, 50-cent card, and Mastermind's Acquisition, like $1. These are super cheap and budget cards that I think that as a channel we want to start to promote a more budget playstyle, and that's what we're gonna do with this theme event. Is our budget is right around? I think we shot for right around $70 to $80.
$75.
I said around, so it's like around $75 to $80. It's not gonna be you must have a $75 deck, but it's just a cheap budget alternatives to super awesome Commander staples is kind of what the idea of the theme is. So.
And then also the Commander has to be outside of the top 200 or 100.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. So the Commander has to have less than 1,000 decks built on EDH Rec, which there's still a lot to work with in that. I think the idea is we just want to encourage people to choose decks that are more unique in their builds and that don't have a whole lot of decks built yet.
Here's my budgeted Traxa deck.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we talked about too was by theme, choosing a theme that wasn't super relevant to certain creatures. Like with certain creatures, it's like there's an obvious theme. Maybe you go a theme that's not super obvious. That's also works with that Commander.
Basically, the first time around, we're like, hey, let's challenge ourselves to do something a little bit more creative to kind of encourage anyone who wants to watch it, and like here's more ideas than just playing. Well, it's banned now, but playing 5-color good stuff Golos or 5-color good stuff Kenrith, or just
Playing Elf Ball or something.
Yeah, like let's try something different. Let's be more creative. I mean, I have 21 decks built. I don't know how many you have, Brody. I know it's a lot.
I think I'm up to like 30.
So it's like him and I are like, we build a lot, and so it's like we do. I mean, I can't speak for Brody, but I tend to sometimes get like stuck in a rut a little bit of like, oh, I've already built this, or I've already seen this be built, like another Boros equipment deck, or another.
Oh, I have like one Boros deck, and that's Winota.
Okay.
Because a lot of them play the same, but like that Sultai deck I was talking about, the weird enchantment thing. A lot of Sultai is just graveyard shenanigans. This is Sultai
Or
enchant-
value, just
or
straight value.
I saw. Well, I never said I'm not going to play the value, but it was interesting.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, this is an idea to challenge all of us in our play group to be like, hey, look it, let's do something different.
Yeah.
And build something that's like, and let's not break the bank, because not everyone can do that. Not
Yeah.
everyone has money to put a Ristic Study in every blue deck, or get the crazy expensive duels or anything like that. Like even like someone like the battle bond lands and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna spend $20 for this. Let's just get. You can play the temple here, you know.
Yeah, and the other thing we'll mention too. We'll mention is that all of the deck lists that we have will be uploaded through Moxfield, and we'll probably have the links in the description in that video.
Definitely.
So if you keep staying tuned to those videos, there should be at least 4 deck techs. You'll find 4
every
deck
video-
techs, and they'll all be linked to Moxfield because
Every commander video, any gameplay video we do, those deck lists will be there 100%.
And keep in mind too, I know new players especially, decks cards fluctuate in price. Cards can go up and down, left and right, and you just have to make sure it's not the decks that if in a couple weeks when we do the video and we upload the decks on Moxfield, know that when we built them, they were close to that budget.
Yes.
That budget limit.
At the time of recording, the deck was $75-ish.
Yes. So we'll have to keep that in mind too. That's why I said shoot for, not has to be.
All right. So that's one of first video, second video, pilot, and then the actual main thing. I'm not sure what we're doing.
It doesn't make a difference. We'll probably end up doing,
It'll be in there.
fun commander videos because we have fun decks that we want you guys to see, and they're not all budget. But they're fun decks that we want you guys to see, and we want you guys to be like, oh hey, that's a cool deck. I'd love to build that. Or hey, that's a cool combo. I can't wait to throw that into my deck.
Yep. So the other thing I had for this is I'm calling it Pull Games, acronym PUL, which stands for Partner It, Unban It, Legend It. What that is, you take 2 legendary creatures and you can partner them, like Zakama, Gishath, boom, partner deck. Do an episode like that. Or Jingataxius and Jingataxius, boom, partner them. Or the unbanned thing. So there are a lot of banned commanders on the, there's Braze, there's Golos, those are the ones that come to mind. Leovold, yeah. Emrakul. But you have the choice to unban one of those or legend it. You take a creature that's not legendary, like Thalia's Lieutenant. You make him legendary and he's your commander. Or you take a Planeswalker and you make that into your commander. That's the idea where I have for this, where we'll put out one of those maybe once a month, because those will be cool, wacky little episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, I think some of us can speak that most of the cards, I personally don't think that most of the cards on the ban list should be banned. But, there are certain cards on there that are like...
Unban Hole Breacher.
Yeah, no, I don't know. There's like I said, there's certain cards that should go on there, and there's... honestly, it comes down to a Rule 0. I think that's another thing, too, is Rule 0
we're a
is
chill
so
group.
important.
If you talk before, it's like, hey, would you guys mind if I play this Leovold deck? I'm not playing them for wheels. I'm playing them more as a control thing.
Speak for yourself. I'm going to be spiky as hell.
Yes, we know this. But, yeah, that's the idea for that. And, yeah, we'll have theme episodes like, here's a Kamigawa episode like everybody else is doing, but with, our own thing. We're not going to be, it's just fun. It's nice to get the spirit of things. But, yeah, that's kind of the future plans we have for it. We also have we'll probably throw some modern videos up there, too, of, wacky deck. Not really meta. We don't play meta modern.
I do.
You do.
I'm building a Sapperling deck for
Boom.
modern. I'm brewing it up, an idea of one.
I have a Prison Soul Sisters modern deck.
I still need to finish out foiling my burn deck. I'm almost there. I'm so close.
So one of those videos won't be entertaining. Probably his. But
well, hey, teach their own.
But yeah, that's just some of the plans we have. Yeah, that's plans for the channel now that we have all that stuff going. So expect way more uploads here in the future. You guys want to get to Magic Minute? Whatever I called it. Blake, you have
Good Time Magic Minute?
Good Time Magic Minute. So this is end segment on our podcast where one of us is going to just tell a fun time we had, usually playing Commander or a game. And Blake's going to start us off because he has a good memory.
Okay, well, it's actually against these two were in the game. So I have a Kydel Crewfix Prophet or whatever. I can't remember. Prophet of Crewfix. No, that's not what it is. Doesn't matter. Kydel, it's a creature that taps for colorless mana equal to the number of cards you've drawn.
You made infinite mana, essentially.
Basically, yeah. And the partners with Vial Smasher. So I had a Villainous Wealth in my hand, but I couldn't draw any more cards. But Dylan over here had a Jace's Archivist on the battlefield, which makes us Windfall. So discard your hand and draw equal to the number of cards, like the greatest number of cards discarded this way. And I was just like, hey, let's have a little fun. Or I didn't have Villainous Wealth in my hand, but I needed the card draw. And it was just like, hey, like let's do a Windfall. It would be fun, wouldn't it? And he was like, okay. And so then I drew, like, I think you had a grip in your hand, and I think we drew like 14 cards or something like that.
Half your deck, and
then
then you played Villainous Wealth for $1 billion
Well,
and drew Brody's
I-
entire library.
I had, hold on.
Let him tell the story.
Let me tell my story. You got to set it up. It's like, just to say I did it, it's not that fun.
We need world building here.
So Kaidel was tapping for a bunch of mana. I had Staff of Domination on the battlefield, which it has a bunch of abilities. One of them is pay 5, tap it, draw a card, and then you can pay 1 to untap it. And then you can also pay to untap. You can pay 3 to tap it and untap a creature. So basically, I was making infinite mana with Kaidel, untapping it, untapping the staff, tapping it, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And then I drew my deck, except for like 3 cards I think I left just in case. And within my deck, I have Villainous Wealth, which is an X mana spell, X, green, black, blue. And it says, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library, and you can pay any permanent. You can play any permanent with X converted mana cost without paying its mana cost. So basically, I did Brody's. He was playing his Kozilek deck, and I did Brody's deck for all of but 1 card in his deck.
you also stole my board too.
I did steal your board.
Oh no, I got board wiped, and then because you had all.
I tried to steal your board, and then you homeward path.
Yeah, but like, so he had no, I didn't have Homeward Path that game. That was the next game. But
Okay.
we just got board wiped because I'm playing my Eldrazi deck. I'm big. I'm
So
scary.
your stuff got shuffled.
Yeah,
back
my
in.
stuff got shuffled back in. I have nothing. I just drew a new grip. I'm like, all right, still got a bunch of lands. I can work with this. Can play my commander. Get back in this. And he Villainous Wealth me, taking everything but 1 card. And my hand was it was mana rocks and lands. I had no way of getting back into this game. I had this 1 card. He had indestructible artifacts. His life total couldn't change. He had my entire deck, and he exiled my Homeward Path. That was my one hope. Is I have this 1 card. It's like, if this is Homeward Path, I win. Draw. Platinum Angel. If I can play this, we'll have the greatest battle of all time.
Hold on, my turn wasn't even done yet.
I have a
'cause
question.
I did all, okay,
Does
go ahead.
Homeward Path? How does Homeward Path read?
Homeward Path reads, tap this, return all target permanents to their owner's field.
From what?
Just return all target.
So anything that's on the battlefield that you
Oh,
own goes back to you.
yeah, okay.
So he would have gotten it back
Yes,
if it
yeah,
got
yeah,
to
yeah.
his turn. So I had to win that turn, basically. And so I was able to then, I think, regrowth the Villainous Wealth back to my hand. And then I cast it again, and we were playing with another kid, I can't remember what his name was, but I stole all of his deck, and then I copied it and stole all of your deck.
He was playing Chatterfang.
Oh, he was playing Chatterfang. But basically, or I was going to steal your deck, but I didn't. And it doesn't matter. I was able to basically Villainous Wealth the entire table to steal all of their stuff. And then I was like, okay, cool. Exsanguinate, because let's just end this game. Because I was running, I had so many permanents on the field, I was like, I don't know what to do anymore.
I was pleading with him. I was like, dude, don't kill me. I can't die. And
Yeah.
it's indestructible. Just let me draw this and play this angel, and we'll have the greatest battle of time. Nah, I win now. Goodbye.
It was super fun. That's a deck, that's not usually how I like to play and win, but the deck was built around Villainous Wealth, so I was like, okay, sweet, we're going to Villainous Wealth.
Villainous Wealth is
the
an amazing
colorless
card.
deck that has all this stuff that's going to be...
Looks at
I
decks.
had Void Winnower and Planar
Token
Bridge.
Chatterfang.
Baron.
Baron. Brody, what do you got? I don't have giant Eldrazi creatures. Don't look at me, please.
It was like such a... I could have won in many different ways, but I was like, this will be the funnest way. And Dylan like knew that it was coming.
Oh, yeah.
And was like, I'll help you out. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
No,
So
I knew it
it's
was
just
coming.
like-
It was more fun to watch him do it
yeah. And then I was
because I had a Tasker deck, and the whole point was get Villainous Wealth out and just sit there and use Villainous Wealth for 24 and just take your opponent's libraries. It's oodles of fun.
it would have been a lot more fun if I could have found like a Concord. Like I was hoping the Chatterfang player had like a Concordant Crossroads.
Yeah,
so that
to
way
just
everything
give it.
would
Just
have
oh, by the
haste,
way, I'm
and I
gonna
would
swing
just,
out with a million.
He
damage.
did have Concordant Crossroads.
No, he didn't.
I thought he said it was in his hand.
No,
No,
he
he
was
had-
looking for it. He didn't have
Yeah,
one. No, in
I
his
was,
library.
he didn't. I told him to put it in his deck after, so I could take it next time. But
Yeah, agree. Yeah, exactly.
no, but yeah. So I basically like I was gonna just pass the turn, but I was like, if I don't, I'm gonna lose. So I just ended it.
Oh, I was prone and ready to basically drop my hand of everything, play my commander, draw a new grip, and go to town. Because I had about like 30 odd mana on the field in all
Yeah,
color.
you had a lot of mana.
Just in because
Brody, here's the thing though. At the time when you said when I bounced it back to your hand, you said you were gonna play it again and draw a new hand. I was literally sitting with mana drain in my hand, and I was gonna take it from you so that then I could.
I
Just,
play this
because the thing is,
Mana drain.
I was absolutely gonna mana drain you. I bounced it to your hand, and you went, oh thanks, and I'm just sitting there going, yeah, you're not gonna be thankful next turn.
I have my Cosmic.
Because I was gonna
I'm
win.
just gonna-
Well, I was gonna win that next turn because that windfall helped me too. I had the ability to just win outright on my hand with my mono blue deck, and
That
it's just
was-
sitting there going, Brody's gonna try this, and
That
I'm
was a
gonna
very
just take
fun
it away
game.
from him.
I think also like the Vile Smasher was just like dealing out like huge amounts of damage.
Oh, you were playing big spells.
Yeah.
Well, remember you kept rolling
Didn't you-
and you kept hitting the Chatterfang player because
Oh,
you kept rolling a one.
I kept rolling
You
one.
kept rolling a one.
And it was just
Oh my
like,
God! If you had Vile Smash out, you would have killed somebody with that villain as well.
Oh yeah, I've done that in past games where I've just like done a huge X spell and I'm like, all right, you died and now I steal all of yours.
Exactly.
Could you
It's such
imagine?
a
I
blast.
villainous wealth kills me. Well, there goes my option for villainous wealthy, Dylan.
Yeah, so
On to the next one.
it was a pretty fun game, but all right, I think we
But
gotta wrap
yeah,
it
that
up
was
here.
Good Time Magic. So that wraps up this episode of the podcast. Oh shoot, I forgot to mention. Yeah, this entire episode was sponsored by Game Related. If you don't know what Game Related is this nice store down here in Oakdale. They have anything you would need for any Magic, TCG, Pokemon. They have a lot here. They
Been
just
pretty busy behind us.
yeah,
too,
it's
as you
pretty
can
busy.
tell.
They have weekly tournaments. They have a lot of free play. But you should really come check. Like, this is my go-to place.
I think this is our go-to.
This is our go-to place. But they just have a huge selection, and they're always getting new products in. And they have right now, as of time of this recording, they have a lot of nice of the Japanese foil archives. So if you're looking for those, I would recommend coming down here. But I'm Brody. That's Blake. That's Dylan. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.